One of the best ways to learn about something is to have a little fun of it. So, to learn about formulas in Microsoft Excel, let's have a little fun. But before we get started, let's go over some rules. Don't worry, there are only 4 of them, and they're more like guidelines than rules. First, always start with an equal sign. Second, avoid putting numbers into formulas. Numbers often change, so instead of putting numbers into formulas, put the address of the cells that contain the numbers. 3, always check your results. Just quickly estimate approximately what the result should have been, and then see if your formula gives you a result that's somewhat close. And finally, similar cells should have similar formulas. If you have a column of formulas in the table, they should all be the same. If not, you're asking for trouble in the future. If you need any more information about these rules, I created a nice little video. Just click the link in the description below. And now, let's have some fun. And if you want to join in the fun, I created a nice Excel workbook. I guess in this case, instead of a workbook, I should call it a fun book. So just click the link to the fun book in the description below. My favorite way to create formulas is also the easiest way to create formulas, and that is to use the amazing AutoSum button. All you need to do is click the blank cell below a column of numbers, and then you go up into the ribbon and you go to the Home tab and click this button right here, the AutoSum button. It's capital Greek sigma, which in mathematics stands for sums. So you just click it, and look at that. We get a sum function which refers to the cells right above that cell. And all we need to do is just click the Enter key on the keyboard, and boom, we got the result like so. And you notice if we have some of the numbers as negatives, we can even do a subtraction using this tool. So we can click the cell, then go up here, click the AutoSum button, and again hit the Enter key. Okay, now if that's not enough fun for you, we can speed this up a little bit. If we just select the cells that we want to add up and then hit the AutoSum button, boom, right away we get the result. And if we double click on it, you can see there's the formula right there. Okay, good. Same thing if we select the cells plus the blank and then hit the AutoSum button. Same thing, we get the result right away without having to go through the process of confirming the formula. Now, if we have numbers in a row as opposed to a column, same thing, we can just click in the blank cell to the right, click the AutoSum button, we get the result, hit the Enter key, or if we want to be faster, we can just select the cells and then hit the AutoSum button, and we get the result a little more quickly. Okay, now if we have a table of cells, okay, we can also just select the cells that are going to be totals in the total row, and then use the Control key to select the total column. Okay, and then we can just go up here, click the AutoSum button, and we get the results right away. That's pretty quick. Okay, and even faster than that is this: if we click any cell in the table, and then we do Control A to select the whole table, and then click the AutoSum button. Wow, did you see that? We created 19 sum functions in one mouse click. Wow. Another fun way to create formulas is to just take a good formula and copy it. And the fast way to copy a formula is to use the fill handle. If we click on a cell, you notice there's a nice green border around the cell, and in the lower right corner of that border is a little box. If we put our pointer on it, the pointer changes to a plus sign, and if we hold down the left mouse button and just drag it down, we copy the formula down to the rest of those cells. Pretty good, huh? Now, if we go down here, we can speed up the process here. If we just select all the cells like so, and then we create the formula. Okay, so I'm going to type equals. I'm going to click in the first cell here, do a multiplication, and then click the second cell. And now, instead of hitting the Enter key, I'm going to hold down the Control key and then click the Enter key. Wow. Okay, now the easiest way to copy a formula is to use what's called the Excel tables. This is what you get when you use the Format as Tables button. Okay, Format as Table button up in the top there. You get these nicely formatted tables, which not only look nice, they also have some other special features which are pretty good. Okay, for example here, let's create our formula here. We're going to do the same thing we did before. Multiplied quantity times the price equals this cell, multiplication, this cell. Ooh, look at that. Look at our formula. We don't have the usual A50 times C50. No. We have actual names, meaningful names in our formula. Look at that. Wow, okay, that's pretty good. Now watch this. We're going to hit the enter key to enter that formula into this cell, and we get this. The formula automatically copies to every cell in that column. Wow. The best way to create really powerful formulas is to use functions. There are hundreds of functions in Excel, and some of them are a bit confusing. In fact, a lot of them are. But don't worry. Keep in mind the main purpose, the function of functions, is to make things easy for us. For example, if you want to average a few cells, you could do it the hard way with a simple formula, or you could do it the easy way with a function. And if you want to have fun with functions, you should be aware of certain fundamentals. Sorry, functions always have parentheses, and usually there are arguments between the parentheses. Why do we call them arguments? I'm not sure. They're really just individual values, cells, or ranges of cells. And all of the arguments are separated from each other by commas. Let's look at perhaps the 5 most common functions. The sum function is already done for us. Let's do an average. We'll type equals AVER. There's our average function right there. We can just hit the tab key to accept that. And then we'll just select the cells or the arguments. And that's it. We can just hit the enter key and we get a good result. Let's do the same thing for the count function, which counts up the number of cells that contain numbers. And the max function, which finds the largest value in a range of cells. And concat, which joins the cells together like a string of pearls. The easy and fun way to do functions is to use a special button, the FX or Insert Function button. This tool will guide you through the process of using even the most complicated functions. Let's try it on these common functions. We'll click the yellow cell, we'll click the FX button, and our sum function is right here in our recently used list, but let's pretend it's not, so we'll just type in SUM, and we'll click the go button. And there it is there, all the functions that are related to the sum function. Of course, we want the one at the top there, the sum function, which is already selected, so all we need to do is just hit the enter key, and there it is. We have 2 boxes. Excel guesses at what we want to include here, but that's not what we want. So what we're going to do is we're going to just select the cells that we do want to include. There we go, C2, C12 through E12, and all we need to do now is, and you can see we have a result there, which is fine, and just hit the enter key to accept this, and there's our result. In our next section, we're going to have some fun with this tool. There is one function that is the most important one because it will help us with the most important purchases we will ever make. Let's say we want to buy a car, a really nice car, a brand new Tesla Model S Plaid, probably the fastest car in the market today, and it costs only $120,000. Unless we are millionaires, we will probably have to take out a loan and pay back a small amount each month. That's where we can use Excel's powerful PMT function. Let's fill in some data here. The principal of the loan is, let's say we don't have a down payment, it's going to be $120,000. The interest rate, let's say 8%. The term of the loan, how long it lasts, let's say 4 years. And here's where the PMT function comes in. To make things easy, we're going to click on the FX button. We'll type in loan and click the go button. And there's a couple of choices there. We're going to click on PMT, read the description, calculates the payment of a loan based on constant payments and a constant interest rate, which sounds good. And so all we need to do is just click the OK button or press the Enter key on the keyboard. Now we have 5 boxes here, but only 3 of them are bold, and those are the important ones. We can skip the other ones there. Okay, so rate is the interest rate, so we'll just click on this cell that contains that. Remember, we don't want to put numbers into formulas. We click the cells that contain those numbers, and be careful here because if you read the description, rate is the interest rate per period, and in our loan, in our particular case, a period is 1 month. So we want to convert that from the interest rate per year, which is the usual way interest rates are expressed, change it into the interest rate per month. How do we do that? We're going to divide it by 12, /12. We're putting numbers into a formula. Not good, but what is the chance they'll ever change the number of months in a year? Not very likely. When we press the tab key, we come to the next box, which is NPER. As you can tell by the description, this is just a really confusing way to ask how many months the loan will last. Well, the term of our loan is listed in years. That's no problem. We can just multiply the term by 12. Hit the tab key again, and we come to our last item, which is PV. An even more confusing way of asking how much the loan is for. So we just click the cell that has the principal. And look at that, we get the result, which is approximately $3,000. Okay, now we get a negative result here. Now you may wonder, why is the result negative? That's because the money is flowing in a different direction. The value of that $120,000 loan comes to you, or at least to your benefit, and that's a positive. And then the payments go back in the reverse direction, back to the bank, which is a negative. Now, for most people, that negative value looks a little confusing. So what we can do is change that. We can just put a minus sign right in front of that value. Put a minus sign there. And now our formula result changes to a positive number, which looks better. All we need to do now is just click the OK button or press the Enter key on the keyboard, and we have our result. Okay, so all we need to do is pay back approximately $3,000 each month. What's that, you say? A little too expensive? Let's increase the term to 5 years and see if that's any better. Well, a little better. Okay, as you can see, it's still pretty expensive. In fact, we could probably buy a small house for that price. Speaking of houses, now that we have this formula in place, we can use it for any really expensive purchase, for a car, for a house, for a trip into space. Now back down here on Earth, let's try something a little more realistic. Let's play a game, if you consider a game as realistic. We're going to set up a simple game, and in the process, I'm going to show you two really powerful functions in Excel. Our game is a simple variation of the craps tables you see at most casinos. And with our version, you're not going to lose any money. In our game, we're going to use a special function, the rand between function, to simulate the roll of a die and randomly return a value from 1 to 6. We will click in the yellow cell, we'll click the FX button, and we'll type rand, and click the go button, and there we go, rand between. Returns a random number between numbers you specify. That's what we want. We'll click OK. And there we go. We just have to specify the range, the two numbers. So at the bottom is 1, hit the tab key, 6. That's what we want. Hit the Enter key on the keyboard or click the OK button. We get a 1 there. Now let's recalculate. To recalculate, use the function key F9. When I press the F9 key, it recalculates all the formulas in our spreadsheet, but the only one that changes is this random function here. I'm going to press it again, and as I keep pressing it, I get different results. Good, so the formula works. I'm going to take this and copy it. I'll just right-click it and do a copy, and then over here, do a paste. Okay, and then here, what I'm going to do is add the two of them together. Equals the first yellow cell plus the second yellow cell. Hit the Enter key. There we go. Oh, let's see if this works. Hit the F9 key a couple more times. It works. Now we will use another function, the if function, to see if we won or lost. To make things simple, if we roll a 7, we win, otherwise we lose. Not great odds, but that's okay. We'll click the blue cell and we'll use the FX button again. We'll type IF, hit the go button, and there it is right there, the if function, okay? Checks whether a condition is met. It returns one value if true and another value if false. That's exactly what we want. We'll click the OK button. There we go. Let's just move this out of the way a little bit. Okay, now the first box is logical test. Logical test means it's some kind of expression that can be either true or false. And usually in Excel, it's this cell is equal to something, it's greater than something, or it's less than something. In this case, it's going to be what? It's going to be this green cell is equal to 7. So we'll say, click the cell, green cell, put the equal sign, and we'll type a 7. There we go. And you can see 10 is not equal to 7, so it's false. We'll hit the tab key to go to the next box. Now, if it were equal to 7, that would be a win. So we would type in WIN. There we go. Hit the tab key, go to the next box. And you see that Excel automatically put quotation marks around the text win because it is just text. It's not a number. It's not a function name or anything. It's just plain old text. Okay. And then if it's not equal to 7, of course, then we lose. And to make things easier, I'll put in the quotation marks. Quotation marks, LOSE, close quotes. There we go. And you can see the result is that we do lose because 10 is not equal to 7. We do lose. That's fine. We'll click on the OK button. And there we go. Now let's see if this works. We're going to roll the dice again. So we'll hit the F9 key. Still losing. We win. There we go. There we go. As you can see, the odds of rolling a 7 are not very good, only about 16.7%. Let's sweeten our chances a little bit and add another winning combination, 11. Because we now have two conditions for winning, 7 or 11, we can use a variation of the if function called the ifs function, the IFS function. Think of it as a plural version of the if function. Again, we're going to use the FX button. So we'll click in the second blue cell. We'll click FX. Okay, and we're going to just type if again, IF, hit the go button, and there it is there, fourth one down, IFS. Okay, good, we'll click on the OK button. There we go. So we only have one logical test, okay? Well, don't worry, there's going to be more coming. All right, the first logical test is going to be, again, if the green cell is equal to 7, just like before. So we'll click in the green cell, type equals 7, hit the tab key to go to the next box. And of course, if it is equal to 7, that's going to be a win. So I will type a win with quotation marks and hit the tab key again. And there's the second logical test. I told you. Okay, good. The second logical test will be very similar. It's going to be this time the green cell equal to 11. Click the green cell equals 11, tab. And again, if that's the case, it wins again. So we'll put it win in the quotation marks one more time and tab it over to the next box. Okay, and now the next one. Okay, we have handled the cases where the green cell is 7 or 11. Now, what about all the other possible combinations? And here is where this function gets a little screwy. To handle all the other possibilities, we have to set that third logical test as true. Yes, don't look at me like that, okay? That's how this function works. The word true somehow means everything else. Hey, I didn't program this, okay? We're just going to have to live with it, okay? So we'll click in the box. We'll type in true, T-R-U-E. Okay, hit the tab key. Of course, now if it is true, if it's everything else, then of course we're losing. So we put in quotation marks, L-O-S-E, close quotes. Okay, and once you can see that, well, lose 7 is a win, so we do win. And then we just click the OK button, and there we go. Okay, good. And let's tap the F9 key a couple more times, see if this works. We won on 11, and won on 7. Real good. Okay, not so much fun. But we did learn 3 important functions ran between if and ifs. And these functions, especially the if and ifs functions, will come in very handy as you explore Excel. So there we are. We learned about the AutoSum button, how to copy formulas, the function of functions, the easy way to use functions, how to calculate loan payments, and how to create a simple game. If you understand and practice the above, you are well on the way to becoming a proficient Excel user. And there's one more thing. In fact, it's my favorite thing in Excel and in a lot of other apps too. It's the undo button. I must have used this button thousands of times. In fact, don't you wish there was an undo button in real life? So start using Excel and create some really great formulas. And most important, have some fun with it. Remember, there's always that undo button ready and willing to bail you out if you ever get into trouble. I hope you found this video helpful, and I hope you found it at least a little fun. And if you could please do us a favor, just click the little subscribe button. It's just a little click, but it will go a long way to helping us create more videos. Thanks for watching.